Thank you for tuning in to Homeschool Homesteaders. Today we're going to talk about the different sidings that I put on my detached garage. Since my masonry work is not the best, I decided to give a coat of concrete stain. Bucket is about 45 bucks, and basically simply apply it. This is how it looks. The color I chose, kind of darker gray. And back to the setting, you take a brush and you paint. Doesn't have to be perfect because dirt will cover up some of it. Another thing that you might want to do before you do siding is you draw the lines where the studs go. This way you won't have to dig around or search for studs when you're doing your siding. Take a permanent marker, a level, draw where the studs go. This is very important. You're going to thank me if you ever do siding on your house. And since you'll have time, because I ordered my siding on April 7th of 2021 and it arrived June 15th. So I had to wait 2 months for my siding to arrive. Now you would kind of want to match your siding on your garage to your house. So this is the house. It's Dutch lap. And when I ordered my siding, like I said, it took him 2 months to have it delivered. And when I finally had my siding delivered to my house, this is what they sent me. So wrong color. Yeah, just I don't know what to do. And, I did call. They said I could return it, and then I'll have to wait till September. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and use this siding. The front of my garage will be LP lap siding, and the other 3 sides of my garage will be regular vinyl siding. This is the front of my garage. I just installed the door. I don't like this molding around it, so I'm going to remove it. Very simple with a hammer, and we're going to install some trim, which you'll see later in this video. And this is the LP Smart trim that I put around the door. The nail holes will be filled with caulk and painted over. And when we zoom in, I kind of made it flush, maybe 1/8 of an inch from the door. Around the garage door, I did 1-inch PVC trim. And there's going to be trim along the outside as well. Here we have a side-by-side view of PVC trim on the garage and LP Smart trim on the door. Zooming in so you can see. I'm just doing it to compare for future building projects. Now my masonry is not the best, so I had to cut or trim my PVC trim. And then you put one on top and then you're not even going to notice that it's cut. So now I have all of the trim applied. This is just primer, very light coat of primer. I'll usually do 2 primers and then the final coat. And so this is how it looks. And yeah, so basically you can't even tell what's PVC or what's the LP Smart trim. Next is the hardy siding. I will take a step back. Once again, this is PVC trim. And as we scan the garage, that's the LP Smart trim. You can't tell the difference. We have to install the drip cap before we do the siding. And as you can see, I go up instead of down. That's on LP side. And you put the drip cap on top of the trim over your garage doors and doors. And then you put the tie back over the trim. And as we scan, this is how it looks all the way across. And then you're going to take some caulk and you're going to caulk all the edges. So all the rain will go out forward. This is how the caulk should look like. Very smooth. You can't even tell it's there. There are many options what to do on the corners of your roof. I'm going to take a step back. This is what I'm going to do. You see this triangle that I cut out? It gets stapled to the roof trusses and it goes parallel with the fascia. So I'm going to put it up, hold it up so you guys can see how it looks. And we're going to staple it. So here I have it stapled to the roof truss. And as we come from this side, I put a little 1x to reinforce it. Get stapled to it as well. Next, you put on tie back, but do not staple the bottom flap. The front overhang will get an F channel parallel with the fascia. And then we put the white vented vinyl soffit, nailed with nails. Now the eaves or the side of the house, the side of the roof house, they don't need vented, so you get a solid. Here is a clip of me on the ladder. Just want you to see what a painstaking process it is, because number one is I don't have the proper tools. This is something I do once in a lifetime, or maybe once every 5 years. So I had to cut them all by hand. They come in 12-foot sections, and you cut them with like metal snips. They do have a special saw blade, which I didn't like. And so use speed square to make sure they're straight. And basically you slide one end into the F channel, and then you'll use some siding or trim nails, and you will nail them to the fascia. So eventually you do this. Move the ladder every couple of feet, and probably took me about 2 days to get all of the eaves and soffits completed. LP Smart Siding is limited on what colors you could have. Therefore, I decided to buy plain whites and paint them the color that I wanted. I do know that you have to have it straight. So I stretched a line. This is not a chalk line. This is just a regular line. And you make sure it's straight, especially the first row. And you take a step back, and once again, you make sure it's straight. Now, every once in a while, you want to make sure you're going straight. So maybe every 4 rows or so, you stretch a line. This is not a chalk line. This is just a regular stretch line or whatever it's called. So it's not going to mark up your walls. But yeah, this is what you do, and you make sure you are going straight, probably every 4 rows or something. Another thing you could do is you could measure, like either from the roof line or the top of the garage door. Take a tape measure, run it down. So here I have 57 inches, and then you go to the other side. Once again, you measure, and here we are off about 1/4 of an inch. So you're gonna have to find a way to kind of hide this little gap. I tried several different nails for nailing the LP siding, and this is what I chose. They look like this. Just like that. Whenever I have to trim, like around a light, I just use this tool. And basically, yeah, I'm not sure what it's called, oscillating tool, I think. And then when you have the piece cut out, you measure, make sure it fits in, trim it a bit if needed, and this is how this is done. Your LP siding will have to be caulked, and this is the company I used. I think it was 4 something per tube. I'm gonna try to zoom in so you can see how the caulk looks like, but very bad lighting, but basically this is how it looks. You caulk it and then you paint it with the matching color. Now on the side of my house, we are switching to vinyl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a nice thick silicone bead, and we're gonna take a J channel and slide it. Make a nice snug fit. You will also put a J channel on top to catch the siding. And same thing with the vinyl, you want it straight, so you will stretch a line. Don't mind my little girl who's helping me out, but same thing, line goes from one end to the other to make sure it's straight. And fast forward about 8 hours, you notice that I got this side done. This is how the finished product looks like. Vinyl, very fast to put on. I'm not happy with vinyl. I prefer LP, but vinyl is cheaper. And here we're gonna go to the back side. I'm not done. There's a little line where I'm showing you right now that I still have to cut some and put some in there. But this is how vinyl looks like. Fast and easy to put up. I'm gonna zoom in here so you can see how it looks. Nice, straight, even lines. You can't even tell that there's caulk, which is what you want. And I'm gonna take a step back, and I want you to see how it goes from LP siding to vinyl. I actually waited for a more sunnier day, and then here I came back and I videotaped again, so you guys could see how the soffits, the eaves, the vinyl, all of it match. This is what you want. Now you may wonder, why is the door to the side instead of like the middle? And number one is it looks better to the side. Number two, here we are inside, you need a nice big wall to hang your ladders and stuff. So that's why the door is to the side. As I pointed out in the electrical video, I did not leave enough space for the siding to go underneath the conduit. So basically what we have is, I had to do a bunch of J channels around the conduit and stuff to run the siding up to it. Up here I have a bunch of 45s, very ugly. I know this is very ugly cut in. Then I took some of this rubber cement thing, waterproofs it. So yeah, when you do siding, make sure, or electrical, make sure you leave enough space to run siding underneath the conduit. And here everything is completed. This is how the final siding looks like. Nice and straight. This is what you want. Take your time so you don't regret it. Here I am on the east side of my garage. Notice the window in the middle. Taking a step back, and this is how the front looks like and the sides. The fronts are LP, the sides are vinyl. I'm waiting for the garage doors. They're taking their sweet time delivering them, but this is how it looks. And I think I did a very good job. So here, final project. This is the front of the garage. It's LP with vinyl trim, and we did the LP trim board as well. The grand total is $580 just for the front. That includes everything you see here, not counting the lights. Now the rest of the garage, the three sides, east, west, and south wall, I did vinyl. And the total for doing the three sides with vinyl is $1,290. I could have done the whole house, the whole garage vinyl, and spent like $1,400, and that's what Menards kit includes, but I decided to switch siding. And so the grand total is $1,870. So on the grand total, with vinyl, with the siding being $1,870, the grand total so far is $20,274. Siding will equal to about 7% of your overall cost, depending on which options you choose. And Menards kit includes only the vinyl siding in its estimate. So back to the Menards kit, they estimated $12,619, and we are already over $20,000.